A very good morning to all. I'm Dr. A. Monogran, Associate Professor, Department of Pathology. Today, I'm going to take a topic, atherosclerosis. So before going to pathology, so here is a gist of the normal vascular wall. So it has three layers: intima, which is the innermost layer; media, some middle layer; and adventitia is an outer layer. It also has an internal elastic lamina and an external elastic lamina. The innermost layer is called as an endothelial layer. So this atherosclerosis is one of the forms of the arteriosclerosis. So you should know what is arteriosclerosis before going to the topic of our atherosclerosis. So this arteriosclerosis has a various pattern. Among this, one type is called atherosclerosis, which is most frequent and important topic, and it has the most clinical significance. And number two is a Monckeberg's medial calcific sclerosis, whereas here the calcific deposits in the muscular arteries in the presence of older age groups, which is above 50 years. This arteriosclerosis affects mostly arteries and arterioles, especially small arteries and arterioles. It has two types of anatomy variants. One is hyaline variant and another is hyperplastic variant. These type of arteriosclerosis most often associated with hypertension and diabetes mellitus. So we move on to the atherosclerosis. This atherosclerosis usually occurs in elastic arteries such as aorta, carotid, and iliac arteries. It also occurs in the medium-sized muscular arteries such as coronary arteries and popliteal arteries. So what are the consequences of this atherosclerosis? Or what is the clinical significance of this atherosclerosis? So it affects all the vessels, and it causes a major defect in the important organs, such as heart. It causes a myocardial infarction, whereas in the brain, it causes cerebral infarction, whereas in the abdominal blood vessels, it causes aortic aneurysms, and in the extremities, it causes a gangrene. So here's a pictorial representation of the consequences of atherosclerosis for myocardial infarction, cerebral infarct, gangrene, and abdominal aortic aneurysms. So once this atherosclerosis has occurred, causes infarction. So what will be the complication of this atherosclerosis? In other words, what are the complications of this plaque? So the complications may be thrombosis, plaque rupture, hemorrhage, wall weakening, and calcification. So a small fatty streak gets deposited. This fatty streak will, along the smooth muscles, it causes a fibrous plaque. This fibrous plaque in turn go for a rupture or total blockage. Okay. So what are the age groups usually affected? The usual age groups are 40 to 60 years, which has a 5-fold increase, but it can occur with any age group. And men are more prone for atherosclerosis than women. And go for genetic etiology, so polygenic. And the most important triggering factor is hyperlipidemia, which causes atherosclerosis. So other risk factors are hypertension, cigarette smoking, diabetes mellitus, and homocysteines accumulation. So genetic causes is a familial clustering of other risk factors like hypertension, diabetes, and familial hypercholesterolemia. So you should remember this: hypercholesterolemia or hyperlipidemia plays an important role in causing atherosclerosis. Let's see, we have an increase in the LDL, low density lipoprotein, which is called as bad cholesterol. So the blood levels of LDL is high, the patient will be more likely to form atherosclerosis, and subsequently they go for an infarction. Similarly, in case of an HDL, low level of HDL, which means it's a HDL is called as a good cholesterol. So the good cholesterol is very low. Again, the patient is more susceptible for forming atherosclerosis. So other risk factors such as hypertension. After 45 years, the hypertension has a stronger risk factors than hypercholesterolemia. The both systolic and diastolic levels increases the risk of atherosclerosis, and even the increased death rates with systolic BP more than 110 and diastolic BP more than 70 when it's combined with an atherosclerosis. And the most important and modifiable risk factor is cigarette smoking. 1 or more packs per day for several years, patient will have been forming atherosclerosis, subsequently go for an infarction. So death rate from ischemic heart disease increases by 200%. So you should note carefully. So cigarette smoking causes death rate by 200%. Next one is diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus induces hypercholesterolemia. It enhances atherogenesis. Okay, you should remember these 2 points. So this diabetes mellitus induces hypercholesterolemia, which is a triggering factor for atherosclerosis. And diabetes mellitus enhances atherogenesis, which is what's meant by atherogenesis? Formation of atherosclerotic plaque. It's called atherogenesis. So obviously, this diabetes mellitus is an important risk factor in forming atherosclerotic plaque. So other factors also be most important. It's nothing but this diabetes mellitus has an increased incidence of causing MI. When it is twice as compared to other risk factors, it has an increased incidence of causing strokes, cerebral stroke, and it has a 100-fold increased risk of causing gangrene in the extremities. So simply you can say this diabetes mellitus has an important risk factors in causing myocardial infarction, cerebral stroke, and gangrene. How it causes all these consequences? Because it induces hypercholesterolemia and it enhances atherogenesis. Next one is homocystinemia. This causes endothelial dysfunction through reactive oxygen species. It interferes with vasodilator and antithrombotic functions of nitric oxide. So nitric oxide, what's its role? It plays as a vasodilator. So what is homocystinemia does? This homocystinemia will interfere the function of this nitric oxide, which means the blood vessel does not go for dilatation and subsequently go for an. So if any blood atherosclerotic plaque interferes, it usually go for dilatation. Whereas in the case of homocystinemia or lack of homocysteine, what will happen? The blood vessel doesn't go for dilatation. Obviously, there will be accumulation of more fibrofatty plaque inside the blood vessels, subsequently go for a blockage, causing ischemia and infarction. Okay, this hyperhomocystinemia causes low folate and vitamin B intake. So, what are the risk factors of atherosclerosis? This is a table. It is very easy to read. There are 2 types of risk factors. One is major non-modifiable risk factors and modifiable risk factors. Non-modifiable risk factors are increased age, male gender, family history, genetic abnormalities, obesity, physical inactivity, stress, type A personalities, post-menopausal estrogen deficiency, and high carbohydrate intake. Whereas modified risk factors are hyperlipidemia, hypertension, cigarette smoking, diabetes, alcohol, lipoproteins, hardened trans unsaturated fatty acids intake, and chlamydia pneumonia. Okay. So among these modified risk factors, hyperlipidemia you can be able to control, hypertension, we have to take medications, and cigarette smoking you should avoid. Diabetes, if it comes, it has to be kept under control. Alcohol, we have to avoid alcohol. Okay, these are all the major modified risk factors to avoid atherosclerosis. So, what is a pathogenesis? How it occurs? Atherosclerosis. So, it is nothing but a response to the injury hypothesis. Okay, it's a response to injury. So, there's an injury to endothelium. Because of that injury, it shows some response. That response we can call as it accumulates some fibrofatty plaque. It's called as an atherosclerosis. So what are the injuries? Endothelial injuries and hyperlipidemia. These are 2 types of injuries which occurs in the endothelial cells. So there's a role of endothelial injury. Then once injury has occurred, what happened? Inflammation will be there. So role of inflammation. Whereas in hyperlipidemia, the role of lipids accumulation is there. What's the role of smooth muscle cells? It will recruit the smooth muscles inside the blood vessel. Okay, so smooth muscles and lipids, along with these lipids, will form a fibrofatty streak. This fibrofatty streak will keep on increase and gets accumulated inside the blood vessel at a particular point, causing ischemia. This ischemia still further increases, will causing an infarction. Infarction go for a necrosis. Okay. So other factors in atherogenesis are oligoclonality of lesions and infections. Endothelial cell properties and functions. The maintenance of permeability barrier, elaboration of anticoagulant, antithrombotic, and fibrinolytic regulators, such as prostacyclin, thrombomodulin, heparin-like molecules, and plasminogen activator. So elaboration of prothrombotic molecules, such as 1 Willebrand factor, tissue factor, plasminogen activator inhibitor. Extracellular matrix production, such as collagens and proteoglycans. These are all important for the normal endothelial cell to get function. And moreover, this modulation of blood flow and vascular reactivity, such as vasoconstrictors, endothelin, and vasodilators, nitric oxide, and regulation of inflammation, immunity, interleukin 1, 6, and chemokines, and additional molecules, VCAM1 and ICAM, E-selectin and P-selectin, and histocompatibility antigens. The rest of regulation of cell growth stimulators, PDGF, CSF, and FGF, and growth inhibitors, heparin, and TGF-beta. Oxidation of LDL. So angiotensin converting enzymes, nitric oxides, interleukins, platelet growth factors. These are the explanations. Say regulation of cell growth, oxidation of LDL, regulation of inflammation immunity, and modulation of blood flow. So this all plays a role in endothelial cell functions and properties. Okay. So this endothelial cell response, which causes activations and induces genes. Okay, these activators such as cytokines, bacterial products, hemodynamic forces, lipid products, advanced glycosylation end products, viruses, complement products, and hypoxia. Where the induced genes are addition molecules, cytokines, chemokines, growth factors, vasoactive mediators, coagulation proteins, MHC molecules, and others. So what will happen? What is the response because of this injury? What happens is an intimal. This intimal is innermost layer. It causes intimal thickening. In other words, a response to a vascular intimal injury. So this vascular injury, how it occurs? It is acute endothelial cell loss or chronic endothelial injury dysfunction stimulates smooth muscle cell growth. Okay. So vascular injury causes smooth muscle cell growth. So what will happen? There will be healing response that includes the formation of new intima, in which smooth muscle cells migrate from media to intima, multiply as intimal smooth muscle cells, and synthesis and deposit in the extracellular matrix. So the intimal thickening as a response to vascular intimal injury. Here you can see endothelial cell. Here you can be able to see the migration of smooth muscle cells to the intima. Okay. So smooth muscle cell mitosis, which means this proliferation and elaboration of extracellular matrix. Okay. So this is how once the injury is occurred, the smooth muscle cells will move on towards the intima. Okay. So you can see the mechanism of intimal thickening. The smooth muscle cell migrate to and proliferation and extracellular matrix elaboration of the intimas. So this is the major proposed cellular mechanisms of atherogenesis. It consists of atherosclerosis as a chronic inflammatory response of the vascular wall to a variety of events that are initiated early in life. Multiple mechanisms contribute to plaque formation and progressions. One is including endothelial dysfunction. Number two is monocyte adhesion and immigration into the intima. And third one is lipid accumulation and oxidation. And fourth is a smooth muscle proliferation, extracellular matrix deposition, and thrombosis. So here you can easily able to appreciate this endothelial injury occurred here. Once an injury has occurred, what will happen? Protective force for body WBCs, monocytes gets got to go adhesion and immigration into the intima. So infiltration into the intima. So this monocyte will enter into the intima. So we can call it as an macrophage. Okay, the institutionally monocytes, whereas in blood vessels you can call it as an blood cells. You can call it as a macrophage. What will happen is macrophage, because of the injury, the lipids gets accumulated. Though this macrophage engulf all those lipids. Okay, so we can call it as an foam cells because of the lipid deposition. This macrophage we can call it as an foam cells. So what will happen along with this lipid? The smooth muscles, as I previously said, it move inside towards the intima. So once it smooth it moves inside the intima, then it will go for a proliferation. So proliferation of smooth muscles will occur here. So this proliferation of smooth muscles along with this macrophage, along with this lipid, will form a fibrofatty plaque. This plaque is called as, this plaque will together form a thrombosis. So this chronic endothelial injury obviously go for endothelial dysfunction, yielding increased permeability, obviously go for leukocyte adhesion and thrombotic potential, which I explained previously. Then accumulation of lipoproteins. So mainly with low density lipoproteins with this high cholesterol content in the vessel wall. There's a modification of lesional lipoproteins by oxidation and the addition of blood monocytes of the leukocytes to endothelium, followed by the migration into the intima and the transformation of macrophages and foam cells, which I explained previously with the help of diagram. Here the theory part of view. So there will be addition along with this smooth muscles, foamy cells, and lipids. There will be an addition of platelets also. Now, it's also gives a normal repair mechanism. So it's an addition of platelets will be seen there. So because of this complicate or complex mechanism, what will happen? Release of factors such as from activated platelets and macrophages or vascular cells that cause the migration of smooth muscle cells from media to the intima. So there will be a proliferation of smooth muscle cells in the intima, as I said previously, and the elaboration of extracellular matrix leading to the accumulation of collagen and proteoglycans. Also, there's an enhanced accumulation of lipids both within the cells, macrophages, smooth muscle cells, and extracellularity. So, what are the cellular events in atherogenesis? See, these are the ones. Injury has occurred. What happened? This is a response to injury. So, endothelial dysfunction. So, endothelial dysfunction, what means? That's increased permeability, leukocyte adhesion, monocyte adhesion, and emigration. Then, smooth muscle migrations. Smooth muscles will migrate into the intima, from media to the intima. So, once smooth muscle enters, what will happen? This macrophage gets activated. So macrophage are smooth muscle cells engulf the lipids. Okay. So this yellow color, what you see here is all the lipids. So this smooth muscle is entering inside the intima, also will engulf the lipids, and this macrophage is entering inside also will engulf the lipid. This macrophage engulfing the lipid you can call as foam cells. So here you can see the smooth muscles with the lipids engulfing and macrophages with the lipid engulfing, forming a foam cells along with the collagen will form a fibrofatty atheroma. This we can call as a fibrofatty atheroma. Okay. So same type, same which previously I discussed. So evolution of arterial wall changes in the response to the injury hypothesis. This is a normal vessel. Number 2 is endothelial injury with addition of monocytes and platelets. Okay, because of endothelial dysfunction. Number 3 is migration of monocytes from the lumen and smooth muscle cells from media to the intima. Number 4 is smooth muscle proliferation into the intima, and 5 is well-developed plaque. Okay, well-developed plaque, which is nothing but a smooth muscle cells engulfing fat and macrophages engulfing fat, forming foaming cells, and along with the collagen, forming in fibrofatty plaque. Fatty streak. Many children less than 1 year, all children more than 10 years, they develop a fatty streaks. In case of an atherogenesis, some progress to fibrous plaque and other regresses, some remains unchanged. So progression is likely in individuals exposed to unfavorable and environmental factors. So morphology is a multiple yellow flat dots less than 1 mm and it forms into streaks up to 1 centimeter long. It is composed of lipid-filled foam cells, T lymphocytes, and extracellular lipid. So here's a gross and microscopic picture, present picture of foamy macrophages in the intima. Okay, it appreciate clearly. Okay. So what is atheromatous plaque? This atheromatous plaque mostly involved in abdominal aorta. Abdominal aorta is more involved than thoracic aorta. The lesions are more prominent around ostia. So abdominal aorta is the most common site for forming in this atheromatous plaque. Number 2 is coronary artery, and third is popliteal, and then descending thoracic aorta, then internal carotid artery, and finally circle of Blaise. Okay, so abdominal aorta is more susceptible in forming atheromatous plaque. Grossly have and gross up is whitish yellow, and which on lumen of the artery, and size is distance from 0.3 mm to the 0.3 centimeter to 1.5 centimeter. It corresponds to form a large masses. Here you can be able to appreciate the gross picture of mild atherosclerosis composed of fibrous fatty plaques, and the severe disease is the diffuse and complicated lesions with the plaque rupture and the superimposed thrombosis. Atheromatous plaques on section forming a superficial portion firm and white, and deep portion yellow and whitish yellow soft. The fibrous cap, here you can be able to appreciate the fibrous cap and the central necrotic largely lipid core. Okay, so it's a large lipid core. Above this, you can be able to appreciate a fibrous cap, and the lumen, you can say lumen L, its lumen has been moderately compromised. Okay. So this is a special stain, elastin stain, for demonstrating the internal and external elastic laminas membranes are attenuated and the media of the heart is thinned under the most advanced plaque. Okay. This is a photographic at the junction of the fibrous cap and the core, showing scattered inflammatory cells, calcifications, and neovascularization. These are all the plenty of inflammatory cells and neovascularizations. So, what are the components of this atherosclerosis? So, 3 components: one is cell, number 2 is connective tissue, and third one is lipids. Okay. So, fibrous cap is a smooth muscle cells and dense connective tissue. The cellular area is nothing but a mixture of macrophages, smooth muscle cells, and T lymphocytes. And the necrotic core is a disorganized mass of lipid, cholesterol clefts, foam cells, and thrombus. And finally, neovascularization, which means new small blood vessel formation. Okay, so this is the structure or component of atheromatous plaque. One is fibrous cap, number 1 is cellular area containing macrophages, and third one is deep necrotic core and neovascularization. So this is a picture representation I already explained previously about the pathogenesis. Once injury has occurred, monocyte gets added to the intimal layer, and this monocyte enters inside the blood vessel, forming a macrophage. This macrophage engulf the lipids, and by the time smooth muscles also entering towards the intima, it also engulfs the lipid. These smooth muscles, along with macrophage and forming a foam cells, along with the collagen, form an atherosclerotic plaque. This atherosclerotic plaque is subsequently go for a thrombosis and causes some major consequences and complications such as thrombotic rupture. Okay, this is the pathogenesis of atherosclerosis. Okay, so it has 3 components. One is fibrous cap, number 2 is necrotic center, and neovascularization. So what are the variations of atheromas? So typical atheromas contains abundant lipid, whereas fibrous plaque contains more of smooth muscle cells and fibrous tissues. So advanced atherosclerosis contains fatty atheroma, which is converted into a fibrous scar. What are the complications? Complications of this atherosclerosis are calcifications, patchy and gross arteries may be converted into pipe streams, and focal rupture, gross ulcerations induces thrombus formations and microemboli, and causes hemorrhage and causes medial atrophy and aneurysm. So we have taken reference from Robbins and Ashmogan. So students, hope it is very clear. about the topic of atherosclerosis. So what you need to remember, just summary point of view. So this atherosclerosis on type of arteriosclerosis. So the important mechanism is any endothelial injury and hypercholesterolemia. It causes endothelial dysfunction, leads to a monocyte adhesion, so moves inside the blood vessel, causing engulfing the lipids, forming a foam cells. Subsequently, there is smooth muscles from the media moves towards the intima. It also engulfs the lipids. So the combination of these lipids along with the macrophages, foam cells and smooth muscle cells along with the collagen deposition will form a plaque. This plaque can be atheroma or atherosclerotic plaque. Okay. So the components of this atherosclerotic plaques are nothing but fibrous cap, necrotic core and neovascularization. This atherosclerotic plaque will gradually increase in size and go causing a thrombosis or complete obstruction or infarction. This atherosclerotic plaque will go for complications or major consequences such as go for rupture, hemorrhage, okay, go for calcifications, microembolies, and hemorrhage, medial atrophy, and aneurysms. Okay, these are the complications of atherosclerosis. So this is hope students have understood clearly about these atherosclerosis and important question for your exams. So reference taken from Robbins and Ashmorans. Thank you, students. Thank you so much.